I will share a little different perspective from what has been going on for the last 2 days, and that is the implementation of e-health in the armed forces. A couple of slides and some facts and figures. India happens to be the second largest army in the world with an area of 3.2 million square kilometers. It has 15,000 kilometers of land borders and about 7,500 kilometers of coastline. It has a standing army of 1.3 million combatants, and the Armed Forces Medical Services has to provide services to 5.3 million dependents of soldiers, 4.7 million veterans, and about 200,000 paramilitary personnel who are deployed in villages, towns, cities all over the country. Our troops are deployed in inaccessible areas like snowbound mountains, deep jungles, deserts, and in desolate islands and the high seas. Healthcare delivery and monitoring of fitness of armed forces personnel is a vital component of national security. The Armed Forces Medical Services is organized in an echelon-based system where primary healthcare facilities are deployed in combat zones, the secondary facilities in zonal hospitals, and tertiary level facilities in command hospitals, there are 7 of them, and centers of excellence in the Army Hospital Research and Referral and AFMC. As you see from this echelon-based system, the flip side is that the patients have to be moved from one echelon to the other by all available means of transport, whether it be by air, by the sea, or by the land. So telemedicine in the armed forces has got a huge role. It reduces this amount of patient transfers. It also enables us to provide emergency care when patient care is not possible because of weather, hostilities, or roadblocks. And it also enables hand-holding of peripheral paramedical personnel, doctors and specialists, with senior specialists and super specialists deployed in the referral hospitals. An important role is humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations, where all forms of communications could be disrupted. Now I come to some issues which are peculiar to the armed forces in the implementation of the telemedicine solutions. The most important is that the commanders are interested only in the implementation of telemedicine solutions to remote and isolated posts which are manned only by non-medical combatant soldiers. They're just not interested in doctor-to-doctor communications. And the only mode of evacuation from these posts is by helicopters and by air, and this also may not be feasible for days and weeks at times. Combat personnel, therefore, had to be trained in the use of patient monitoring systems and the transmission of data. The other issue is the internet, which we are all accustomed to using for transmitting data, is not desirable in the armed forces because of security concerns. So the telemedicine solution in the armed forces had to be dovetailed to secure armed forces networks. Both healthcare providers and the target population, the armed forces, frequently turned over, adding to the challenges of training. So in the armed forces currently, we are implementing 5 solutions. One is the radio set, where the combat soldier links the patient monitoring system and transmit over a wireless radio. The second is intranet, from the medical officer posted in the remote combat hospitals to the specialists. And here I am happy to say that in the Indian Army, we've reached the optical fiber cables and the jelly-filled cables almost right up to the places where war is going to happen. The third solution, and we are very happy to collaborate with ISRO, is the satellite communication technology, where the communication happens from the zonal hospitals to the tertiary care centers. Then we have mobile telemedicine, which we use when the patient is actually being evacuated. And lastly, the ship-to-shore system, which is being implemented for the Navy. So here we have this mobile telemedicine system. There are a lot of issues with interfacing this radio sets with the monitoring systems, which have been overcome recently. But all of you must understand, what we are talking about are huge numbers. So I think we have to cooperate with the industry when we are talking about this. We are talking about 20, 30,000 of these patient monitoring solutions which are deployed in the combat zones. And here we had a demonstration of this where we trained some of these combat soldiers, non-medical personnel in the use of these technologies, and we were very happy to note that they were quite confident. After 2 days of training, they're fully conversant on how to operate these patient monitoring systems. About the satellite communications, we already have 18 satellite nodes which have been installed by ISRO in all parts of the country, and these enable communication between zonal hospitals and super specialty centers. And I'm happy to say that the chairman ISRO has already sanctioned 53 more nodes, which will be a game changer in the delivery of telemedicine in the armed forces. As I said, it is deployed across the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force in the far corners of our country. And this is one implementation from the base hospital in Srinagar, which is a very busy hospital, and they very frequently communicate to us in the Army Hospital Research and Referral. Almost on a daily basis, we get casualties both from the military and the paramilitary forces. This is, I'd like to compliment myself for kind of taking this initiative for deploying a node in the Siachen Glacier. And this is a very humongous task. I'll just come in the following slides to tell you how difficult it is to take and how logistically difficult it is to deploy the equipment and the manpower in this place. And more importantly, a few days back, I've got one node installed in my office in Delhi from where I can communicate to this node. So next few pictures will show you how difficult, I mean, it's very easy to say that, okay, it's possible to deploy in the glacier and the far reaches of a country, but these next few graphics will tell you how difficult it was to take this equipment to the Siachen Glacier. Each chopper can take only a load of about 10 to 20 kilograms of equipment, so they have, we had to use multiple chopper trips to take it right up to the glacier. And the helipad landing zones could be just the size of this carpet, and the pilots have to do it at great risk to reach these inaccessible areas. And men have to kind of climb on steep mountains like this to carry the loads. But all in all, we have fulfilled the commander's desire of reaching the telemedicine solutions to the most inaccessible areas of the country, and it is a huge morale booster and also, of course, a medical advancement for our fighting forces. So we do use this SATCOM telemedicine for consultation during medical emergencies, for continuing medical education, for which we have material from the ISRO itself. They have a center in Deku in Ahmedabad, which provide, and now we are also a teaching node. And also, as I said earlier, the satellite communications is the only form of communications which will bail us out during HADR operations, that is humanitarian disaster relief, where all other forms of communication may be disrupted. So this is the last solution, the second last, where we are using mobile communication systems during patient transport. And lastly, the ship-to-shore communication systems, which are deployed in about 112 ships in the eastern and western coastlines, and these are being linked to major naval bases across the country. And this initiative was appreciated by the Honorable Prime Minister of our country, and it has recently been inaugurated. And the importance of telemedicine being given by the country can be judged by the fact that we presented all our efforts to the Honorable President of India under the aegis of the Telemedicine Society of India, which was chaired by Dr. Selva Kumar at that time. In addition to telemedicine, e-health deployment also involves the issue of deploying hospital information software. This again is plagued with several issues which are peculiar to the armed forces. Unlike the commercially available software, we have service-specific ethos and protocols in the management and delivery of healthcare. And in the service, these need not be integrated with the business issues which are usually associated with the HI solutions which are commercially available. And there are also frequent movement of combat soldiers which necessitate robust implementation of continuity of care solutions. And unfortunately, there is not enough handshaking between the networks of the Army, Navy, and the Air Force, and because each of them has got its own security models and they're not willing to share their networks with the other. So this is a problem at the moment. Notwithstanding this, we have a very good hospital information software in several of our research and referral centers and also in the command hospitals. So here again, I think we need to call for a lot of partnership with the industry, because there are 132 military hospitals as of now, and as of now, though campus-wide networks exist in about 60% of them, the hospital information network is not as good as it should be. I'm happy to say that the Air Force now has empowered their air warriors right up to the level of sergeants who can pick up their smartphones, which are connected to the secure Air Force network, and theoretically ring up the air chief as well. And now we thought this was a great opportunity, like Madam Sangeeta said, to reach out to these Air Force warriors who are deployed in all parts of the country and address various issues related to the health and monitoring the health, and this has been a huge success. We've also been a major partner with the National Knowledge Network, and several larger armed forces hospitals are linked to the National Knowledge Network, and this enables sharing of information and data very effectively. Now coming to the cost implications, in July 2015, the Department of Defense in the US awarded a $43,000 million 10-year contract to the Leidos Incorporation to deliver and support a modern and interoperable electronic health record system to 9.4 million beneficiaries of the US Armed Forces. But are we ready to bite the bullet is the question. Thank you and Jai Hind.